Ms. Legalista here. Welcome to the video. I'm back with another video about Donald Sterling because we have this new video, series out called Clipped, and I forgot who is actually showing this, and I've been watching it. I guess I should have checked on that before I brought all of this up. Can't remember if it's on HBO or Hulu or what. Let me see. It's Clipped. Yeah, let's see where it's playing here before I jump into this. It's FX's Clipped. Okay, I don't know what I'm watching it on. I'm watching it on something. Episode 3 should be coming out tomorrow. I've already done one video that goes back over that complaint that Rochelle Sterling filed against V. Stiviano, the one alleging that, hey, you got my husband to give you all these gifts. Well, it was community property and I want it back. There was a house, there was a Ferrari, Bentley, Range Rover, money. It names all kinds of stuff in that suit. So if you want to know more about that complaint and see the whole thing from beginning to end, then check out that video. But in this video, we're going to take a step back because one of the questions people sometimes say is, well, how did he get his money to even be able to buy the LA Clippers? Well, he started out as an attorney and then bet big on real estate is basically what it came down to. In this video, though, we're going to check out this civil rights discrimination complaint that was filed against him. And we're going to go to the Department of Justice's website here so we can go through what they were alleging that he had done here. This is coming out of Civil Rights Division. I was trying to figure which one. Okay, here we go. Central District of California. And you have the United States of America plaintiff versus Donald Sterling, individually in his capacity as trustee for the Sterling Family Trust and doing business as Beverly Hills Properties. Complaint Rochelle Sterling, individually and demand for jury trial. Okay, this is kind of messed up the way this is showing up here, because the complaint would actually be on the other side. So now it all looks like it's all been crushed together. So they're asking for a jury trial also. But yes, you can see it's against him individually and in his capacity as trustee, his wife Rochelle Sterling individually and in her capacity as trustee, the Sterling Family Trust, and the Korean Land Company, LLC. So those are all of the defendants in this discrimination case. It says, plaintiff United States of America alleges this action is brought by the U.S. to enforce the Fair Housing Act and its amendments. This court has jurisdiction. This venue is proper. The property is located in the Central District of California, and the defendants conduct business in this district. Defendant Donald Sterling and defendant Rochelle Sterling are residents of Los Angeles, California, and are the owners and or managers of numerous multi-family residential rental properties located in Los Angeles County, California. Beverly Hills Properties is Donald Sterling's doing business as name. Beverly Hills Properties manages multi-family residential rental properties located in Los Angeles County, California. Defendant Sterling Family Trust holds title to and owns multi-family residential rental property in Los Angeles County. At all times relevant to this complaint, defendants Donald Sterling and Rochelle Sterling have been trustees of the defendant Sterling Family Trust and are sued herein both individually and as trustees of the Sterling Family Trust. Defendant Korean Land Company is a California limited liability company that holds title to and owns multi-family residential rental property in Los Angeles County. Defendants' multi-family residential rental properties in Los Angeles County are dwellings within the meaning of the Fair Housing Act. Defendants Donald Sterling, Rochelle Sterling, and their agents and or employees have engaged in a pattern or practice of discrimination on the basis of race, national origin, and familial status in connection with the rental of dwellings owned by the Korean Land Company, the Sterling Family Trust, and Donald and Rochelle Sterling in violation of the Fair Housing Act. Donald Sterling and Rochelle Sterling, the Korean Land Company, and the Sterling Family Trust have at all times relevant to this complaint had the authority to control and direct the agents who committed the discriminatory actions stated herein. The defendants and their agents have engaged in a pattern or practice of discrimination by, among other ways, A, refusing to rent to non-Koreans at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in the Koreatown section of Los Angeles County. B, refusing to rent to African Americans at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in the Beverly Hills section of Los Angeles County. Refusing to rent to families with children at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in Los Angeles County. D, creating, maintaining, and perpetuating an environment that is hostile to non-Korean tenants at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in the Koreatown section of Los Angeles County. E, providing inferior treatment to non-Korean tenants in the terms, conditions, and or privileges of a rental at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in the Koreatown section of Los Angeles County. Misrepresenting, that's F, misrepresenting the availability of units to non-Koreans at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in the Koreatown section of Los Angeles County. G, misrepresenting the availability of units to African Americans at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in the Beverly Hills section of Los Angeles County. Misrepresenting the availability of units to families with children at the multifamily residential rental properties that defendants own or manage or have owned or managed in Los Angeles County. I, making statements and publishing notices or advertisements in connection with the rental of units that express a preference for Korean tenants and discrimination against non-Korean tenants. And J, making statements or publishing notices or advertisements in connection with the rental of units that express discrimination against African Americans and families with children as tenants. At all relevant times, defendants Donald Sterling, Rochelle Sterling, their agents, and other employees committed the discriminatory acts contained in paragraphs 12 as agents for the Korean Land Company, the Sterling Family Trust, or Donald and Rochelle Sterling. The conduct of the defendants as described in paragraph 12 constitutes a refusal to rent, a refusal to negotiate for the rental of, and conduct otherwise making unavailable or denying dwellings to persons because of race, national origin, or familial status in violation. You'll see the law there. Discrimination in terms, conditions, or privileges of rental or dwellings on the basis of race or national origin. C, statements of preference or a limitation on the basis of race, national origin, and familial status in connection with the rental of dwellings. D, publications or notices of preference or limitation on the basis of race or national origin in connection with the rental of dwellings. E, misrepresentations regarding the availability of units on the basis of race, national origin, and familial status in violation of, again, there's the law there. You have the conduct of defendants as described herein was intentional, willful, and taken in disregard for the rights of others. The conduct of the defendants described in paragraph 12 constitutes a pattern or practice of resistance to the full enjoyment of rights secured by the Fair Housing Act and a denial to a group of persons of rights granted by the Fair Housing Act, which denial raises an issue of general public importance. Individuals who were subjected to defendants' discriminatory housing practices are aggrieved persons as defined by the Fair Housing Act and have suffered actual injury and damages as a result of defendants' conduct as described herein. Wherefore, the United States prays that the court enter an order that A, declares the defendant's policies and practice as alleged herein violate the Fair Housing Act as amended. B, enjoins the defendants, their agents, employees, and successors, and all other persons in active concert or participation with them from 1, discriminating on account of race, national origin, and familial status against any person in any aspect of the rental of a dwelling, and 2, interfering with any person in the exercise or enjoyment of rights granted or protected by the Fair Housing Act. C, awards monetary damages to each person aggrieved by defendants' discriminatory housing practices. And E, assesses a civil penalty against each defendant in order to vindicate the public interest pursuant to the Fair Housing Act. The United States further prays for such additional relief as the interest of justice may require. And there you have it, Alberto Gonzalez, Attorney General. Yeah, that was a lot. So yes, so there was definitely some background in the history there regarding the ownership of the properties by the Sterlings and these discrimination complaints that were filed against them by the U.S. Department of Justice. So that gives you a little bit more background on this subject. Like I said, if you're following that show and you want to learn more, hope this keeps you informed. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if this did give you a little bit more information about what was being alleged. Again, these were allegations at that point. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.